the infinity of uncountable stars, it seems presumptuous to single out one planet and insist on its significance. We know little of its origin, even less its purpose. Yet it seems somehow special. By any time we can reasonably measure or comprehend, this planet is certainly very old. Over millions, billions of years, fingers of ice have squeezed it and let go. And squeezed again and let go. Seas have formed and dried away. Mountains have reached sharply to the sky, only to have their teeth worn by time. Change is the order, and only the sun seems constant. Life assumed many forms, and each adapted to the conditions in which it found itself. And when conditions were not favorable, disappeared. Though each life must die, the energy inherent remains, and becomes the material we now call our fossil fuel, the energy of life transformed. It waits 100,000 years, 500,000 years, 1 million years. Longer, it waits for man.
Yabba jabba doo, I love you. Cha-da-town, town, cha-da-town.
Energy expresses itself in many ways. It can be described as power, activity, exertion, the ability to produce effect, even forcefulness of expression.
Fred Flintstone, what are you doing?
Breaking rocks.
Breaking rocks? You were supposed to be gathering wood.
Gathering wood. Gathering wood. That's all you ever think about is gathering wood.
Well, I'm always running out of it.
Look, there's enough. Don't worry about it. I got more important things to think about.
Like breaking rocks?
Yeah. Well, I know you're going to think this is silly, but I know that somewhere in all these black rocks there's a secret. And if I break enough of them, somewhere in one of them I'll find that secret. I can feel it in my bones.
Well, that's a lovely thought, Fred. And speaking of bones, it's time for lunch.
Great, great, great. I've just about run out of energy.
When energy is put to work, its usefulness decreases by an amount equal to the work done.
Diddle-diddle-doo, I love you. I'm your ever-loving slave.
Sliced tomatoes and cottage cheese again?
We're on a diet, Fred, remember?
Yeah, but I'm hungry. I wonder why I get so hungry after a hard day breaking rocks.
I've often thought about that myself, Fred. After you spend a day in this cave, I don't care how many conveniences it has, but scrubbing furs and scraping roots, I just get so tired and hungry. Do you suppose it's got something to do with... no, I guess not. You know, it's like there's less of me, and after a good dinner, I feel more of me again.
Oh, that's heavy, Wilma, that's heavy. Listen, I'm going down to the hunting lodge. Barney told me some guy from over the mountain is going to demo a new gadget. They call it catgut on a stick spear thrower. And this guy claims it'll shoot a spear 10 dinosaur tails. He's probably some egghead.
Energy can be defined in very complicated scientific jargon, or simply defined as that which moves and gives off heat. We sometimes fail to see its many forms as energy. Energy can be constantly available, as in a waterfall, or the wind, or it can be scattered, as in sunlight. Then again, it can be stored away.
Fred, are you at that again?
Yeah, I sure am. I found it, Wilma.
Found what?
I found the secret. I found the secret in these black rocks.
You did?
These rocks are worth catgut on a stick spear thrower.
They're what?
I met this nut from over the mountains, a traveling stranger. And for an investment of 10 skins of black rock, he gave me this catgut on a stick spear thrower. And every time I hand over 10 more skins of black rock, why, he'll give me another catgut on a stick spear thrower. We'll be rich, Wilma, we'll be rich!
Listen, Fred, the last time you invested in something, what was it? Oh, the wheel, that phony called it. Well, it wasn't good for anything, except maybe a patio table, and you got stuck for 10 tons of Rockosaurus meat.
Oh, you don't understand, Wilma. It was a great idea. It still is. Why, as soon as they figure a way to get the corners off,
Oh, Fred. Listen, what I can't figure out is what the traveling stranger expects to do with all this rock.
I don't know, Wilma. He seems like a very intelligent man. You know, sometimes great men work in mysterious ways.
Well, it seems worthless to me, except maybe for drawing pictures. And speaking of which, will you please stop drawing on the living room ceiling? It's a mess.
You know what's the trouble with you, Wilma? You got no sense of history.
All you gotta have is talent. Behold, my sacred cow.
To ancient man, energy appeared to be free, yet much of his daily struggle to survive was an effort to trap this free energy and put it to work. The heat from a fire is not free when you've spent the whole day gathering wood. No method is known by which it's possible to harness energy without using some of that energy in the process, nor is any method known by which it's possible to create energy out of nothing. It's in this pursuit of something for nothing that men have sought to turn base metal into gold.
Everybody says I'm crazy, but this is gonna blow their minds.
And it's in this pursuit of something for nothing that men have tried to create perpetual motion machines, machines that will do work for nothing.
Yabba dabba doo, I've got it! I'll never have to work again!
But nothing is for nothing. No energy system is known by which it's possible to gain useful work without an exactly corresponding reduction in some other aspect of the total energy system. In 1776, the population of the 13 original states was only 2.5 million. But the energy our forefathers consumed was already significant. Our resources seemed boundless. Most energy was provided by burning wood, and there was plenty of that. Roaring fire in the American farmhouse was a luxury few in the rest of the world could afford. 100 years later, the United States was already the leading industrial producer in the world. And with the coming of the railroads, the distribution and the use of coal expanded rapidly. Coal was everywhere, and a new substitute for whale oil, petroleum, was coming into wider use. Today, the United States is still the world's largest consumer of energy. With only 6% of the world's population, we consume over 30% of the world's energy resources. Until recently, however, most of that energy was our own. In the 15 years between 1970 and 1985, we may use more oil and gas than we used in our total history up to 1970. On a world scale, mankind may use as much energy in the next 25 years as he did in all recorded history up to 1970, if the supplies are available.
Hold it, hold it! What do you mean, if the supplies are available? Everybody knows there's more gas now than there ever was.
A little bag of bolts, I love you, like Lindbergh loved his plane, like the roses love the sunshine, like...
We must cut through the fog that envelops the energy question. We've all heard the stories, the incredible proposals, the futuristic fantasies.
Electric cars, that's the answer. I mean, what the heck? All you do is plug it in.
Well, after driving all the way across the United States, this man, my cousin's friend, finally realized he hadn't put any gas in it.
Coal, that's what we need. Why, there's enough to last 1,000 years.
Well, I think windmills would be nice, or maybe tides. You know, tides in, tides out.
Aluminum foil. You cover all of Texas with aluminum foil.
Why not Connecticut?
They wouldn't like it in Connecticut.
Why, if they didn't buy up all those patents, we'd be getting 160 miles to the gallon right now.
These stories, even when they contain the smallest grain of truth or possibility, do little more than contribute to self-delusion or serve as an outlet for frustration. The reality of the energy crisis lies elsewhere.
Brad!
Out here, Wilma. What's up?
Have you seen this article in the Sunday paper?
No.
It's about energy. Fred,
Now, wait a minute. Harry down at the station, he knows the story.
No. Listen. They have these charts in color, and everything's figured out in millions of barrels of oil a day, or its equivalent. They call it BDOE. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. BDOE.
Let's take a look at a metropolis of about 6 million people. The Los Angeles area is just about the right size. Imagine they use nothing but oil for all of their energy requirements. To arrive at a standard unit of energy, we've chosen to use 1 barrel of oil per day, or its equivalent in some other energy form. This unit is abbreviated BDOE. In a city of almost 6 million, the amount of energy used is equal to the burning of 1 million barrels of oil every day. End to end, those barrels stretch 552 miles. Of course, there is no city that uses nothing but oil. Most metropolitan areas receive their energy from a variety of fuels. Whatever the fuel, we've used BDOE, 1 barrel of oil a day or its equivalent, because it's easier to relate to a barrel of oil than to a kilowatt. The world is consuming increasing amounts of energy, and for many reasons, most energy needs are supplied by petroleum and natural gas. Thus, oil is cast in a leading role in the world play of population, resources, and environment. As steel is the skeleton of the modern world, oil is its blood.
Let's sing a song about a BDOE. That's a barrel of oil a day, or its equivalent. We burn them by the millions. And brother, that ain't hay, it's really oil, or its equivalent. The more we use BDOEs, the more oil slips away. Anytime we save a BDOE, it's a BDOE beautiful day. Anytime we save a BDOE, it's a BDOE beautiful day. Anytime we save a BDOE, it's a BDOE beautiful, BDOE beautiful, BDOE beautiful day.
Let's go back to a typical day in 1950. On that day, in 1950, the United States consumed energy equivalent to 16 million barrels of oil. That's in one day. It took all of American history up to 1950 to generate an appetite of this size. If we move ahead 10 years to a typical day in 1960, our energy consumption totaled 21 million barrels. In 1970, we used over 32 million barrels a day, double 1950. If present trends continue, by 1980, we project an energy consumption of 42 million barrels. And on a day in 1990, even assuming a good start at conservation, it's possible we will be burning the equivalent of 52 million barrels of oil every single day. Now, let's go back to that typical day in 1970 and take a look at where that energy came from. Of the more than 32 million BDOE barrels consumed that day, 32% was in the form of oil produced in the United States. 33% was from gas. About 23% was from coal. 1% was from hydroelectric power. In 1970, we started receiving a small amount of nuclear power and measurable geothermal input. And believe it or not, we used wood.
Wood?
That's right, Fred, wood. Up until a couple of years ago, we got as much energy from the burning of wood as we did from nuclear reactors.
Well, it still ain't full.
That's right. In 1970, we found it necessary to import some oil, a bit more than 10% of our total energy.
Oh, that ain't so much.
No, but in the coming years, it'll be a lot more. Using all the technology we can foresee and pay for to produce new domestic supplies, we'll still be dependent on oil and gas for most of our energy. The expanding needs of the rest of the world guarantees an enormous demand. This demand, plus market control, affects not only the amount available, but also its price. The price is going to be very high.
Here's the latest men's apparel. That's the awful price I pay for burning up 1,000,000 barrels each and every day.
Or its equivalent. In my steel kimono is decidedly irritating to the knees.
Unter mein verstucken Bar, ich haben was die BBDs. And by the way, ski, it has to pay ski for 1,000,000 barrels every day, ski. Hey! Or its facsimile, strolling down the Champs-Élysées. Every Frenchman dresses this way, in this very chic apparel. Everybody's in the same dumb barrel. That's the price we pay.
Still using that day in 1970 as a reference, let's see how that energy was consumed. The largest amount, more than 1/3, was used in industry. 1/3 was used by residential and commercial buildings. 1/4 was consumed by transportation, the moving of people and things. The smallest amount, less than 1/10, was used in petrochemical production, the use of coal, oil, and gas in the manufacture of chemicals, plastics, and fertilizer. In a hungry world, in a technological world, petrochemical production will no doubt be demanding much more of the energy supply. One way of increasing supply is to be more efficient with the energy we do have. None of man's energy systems is perfect. They're all subject to conversion laws. If you put 10 units of coal, let's say, into a steam plant, you don't receive 10 units of electricity out the other end, only 3. 7 of these units are lost in the process of converting one form of energy into another. A very large investment in new equipment will reduce that loss. But 10 units of coal will still not convert into 10 units of electricity because there are natural limits on our ability to convert energy efficiently. Going from a heavy car to a lighter one is a more efficient way of converting gasoline into miles traveled. This too has a limit. It's important to make a distinction between necessary conversion loss and simple waste. Insulating your house is efficient. Leaving a window open, that's waste. Even if we halt all growth, we'll still need new sources of energy, if only to replace what we're using. This need sometimes runs counter to our need for pure air, undisturbed land, and pure water, creating a base for social and political conflict. Communication between the many vested interest groups is poor. Information is often inadequate.
We want Wilma, we want Wilma, we want...
If you should choose me as your representative, I give you my...
How about giving us the truth?
Yes, what are you going to do about offshore drilling?
Let me say this
I'll give them hell, Wilma.
What's your stand on nuclear contamination?
Give money.
Water!
High prices. Lumber interest.
No growth!
No jobs!
One man's meat is another man's poison, and it's difficult to remain objective when the charge is rape.
Fred!
Huh?
We need more wood.
Oh, okay. Sure ain't growing very fast. Wilma,
Yes?
we haven't got any more wood. I guess I'll have to go over to Saber-Tooth Canyon and trade for some. How many catgut on a stick spear throwers have we got left?
3?
Well, that'll just do it.
Are you at that silly game again?
Little game of gourd never hurt anybody.
Well, you better break up some more black rock so you can get some more catgut on a stick spear throwers so you can get some more wood.
Yeah, I know. I'll go over in a minute. Gourd! Hey, Wilma! I just got an idea for a new game.
Well, I guess it's obvious that there is a relationship between the amount of energy we use and the way we live. You know, when you see America at work, it's difficult to believe we have a serious energy problem, but it's there. Even with a tremendous increase in the domestic production of oil and gas, an even larger Alaskan pipeline, a 50% increase in the underground mining of coal, the strip mining of 100,000 acres a year, double the number of dams, intense solar and geothermal efforts, in 1990, just a few years from now, nearly half of our oil may still have to be imported from a world that has a limited supply. If we do import the oil, the cost could create a staggering balance of payment deficit. If we don't import the oil, or simply can't afford to, we risk the possibility of economic stagnation and the accompanying social frustration. We're sort of damned if we do, and damned if we don't.
Wait a minute! How about building a few more of those nuclear plants? I mean, if we could send a guy to the moon...
Well, Fred, at present prices, a nuclear plant costs over $1 billion. And it takes more than 8 years to bring one such plant into operation. If we completed a plant every 3 weeks from now until 1985, and one every 2 weeks thereafter, nuclear energy would still fill less than 1/5 of our 1990 energy needs. We really haven't got much time. We do need the energy. So, what's the answer? Well, we must learn to think differently about the way we use energy. A barrel saved is a barrel earned. We must be cautious about finding ourselves dependent on any one oil source, not have all our eggs in one barrel. We must make more efficient use of energy. We must make an enormous commitment to increasing our energy supply. All of this to buy time. Time to solve the national energy dilemma. A dilemma being a choice between equally disagreeable alternatives. It's clear we have a limited number of options, and all of these are negatively charged. It's fashionable these days to speak of mankind coming to terms with nature, of his achieving a better balance between his rapaciousness and the natural order. True, but only partially so.
Hey, Wilma! I'm home!
I'm in here by the fire, Fred. Any luck?
No, petrodactyls are sure getting scarce.
Well, maybe better luck tomorrow.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Gee, Wilma, it's cold.
And we're almost out of wood again, too.
Yeah, well, at least that won't matter anymore, 'cause today I really found the secret.
Again?
Listen, I made a little trip over the mountain, saw the traveling stranger. And you know what he's doing with all this black rock?
I can't imagine.
He is burning it.
Burning it? Oh, Fred.
Wilma, believe me, it's true. Here, look. Pretty good, huh?
Oh, fantastic.
And look at it all. There's enough right here for you, me, and the whole tribe. All we gotta do is dig it up. And we got enough right here to last forever.
Forever, Fred? I heard that about the wood.
Forever, Wilma.
Yabba-dabba-doo, I love you. Do dinosaurs dine on leaves? Do petrodactyls go for gophers. Do Adams go for Reeves?
I really dig you, baby. Yabba dabba do I need you? Do the butterflies need wings? Do the monkeys need bananas? Do bells need ding-a-ling?
Here by the fire,
So warm and cozy,
as the flame burns higher,
my world is rosy.
my one desire,
Sing it, Blue Eyes.
my baby is you.
I love you, Freddie.
Yabba dabba doo. And someday, when they find our story in clay,
Or scribbled on the ceiling.
they'll see we're early caveman, made mistakes along the way. But will they learn a thing or two or three from what we say? Yeah.